Chapter 15. The load was heavy, and he was tired and hungry. He went left by the south gate, lay the load on the ground and rested his aching shoulders against the city wall. Feeling down on his luck, he chanted a poem. At 32 I began to study the way, but didn't expect that I would fail. The world's dark and ugly to see. How can I shake it off my shoulders? Having found a branch to roost upon. Gold's shackles now fetter me again. When shall I fulfill my life's ambition? And sit on a stream refining my soul. He was rising from this brief rest when he saw a man approach. Flower hawker. Wait a minute. Jiang Ziya was elated. Here comes the god of wealth. He muttered to himself and then asked, "How much flour would you like?" "Just 1 cent's worth." Jiang Ziya could not refuse to accept even such a small deal. Not being an experienced hawker, he threw the bamboo pole on the street and let the ropes tying the sacks of flour trail all over the ground. At this time, 400 marquises in the south and east had already rebelled against the king, and the situation in Zhaoge was tense. Prince Huang Feihu drilled his soldiers every day. Today, when cannons were fired to signal the end of the training, a horse was startled, got out of control, and came galloping down the street. Busy weighing out the flour, Jiang Ziya did not notice the horse until someone shouted out, "Flour hawker, look out for the horse." He looked up, but the horse was already upon him. Its hooves caught in the trailing ropes, and the sacks were dragged along the street, spilling the flour all over. A strong wind rose and blew all of it away. The disappointed customer left, and Jiang Ziya, covered in flour, returned home with the empty sacks. Madame Ma was delighted to see him return with empty sacks. "So flour's easy to sell at Zhaoge." Jiang Ziya threw down the bamboo pole and the sacks. "It's all your idea, you worthless, meddlesome hussy." He began to swear at her. "It's wonderful you've sold all the flour. Why should you swear at me so absurdly?" His wife protested. Jiang told her what had happened and concluded, "You're the cause of all this trouble, you good-for-nothing." Madame Ma spat angrily in his face. "You're the useless one, yet you grumble at me. You're nothing but a rice bucket and a clothes rack. All you can do is eat and wear out clothes." She retorted, "You damned bitch. How dare you insult your husband like that?" Jiang Ziya was furious. The quarrel soon turned to blows, and Song Yiren and his wife Madame Sun hurried over to interfere. "Brother, what are you quarreling about?" Madame Sun asked. When Jiang Ziya told them the story, Song smiled. "How can you quarrel about 2 worthless sacks of flour? Come with me, brother. I really appreciate your help, but I have such bad luck that everything I do ends in failure. I feel terribly ashamed." Jiang Ziya said, sitting down in the study. "A man's controlled by his destiny, and flowers bloom only when the time's right. The saying goes, even the yellow river will one day flow with clear water, and every man will meet with good fortune sooner or later. You needn't worry, brother." Song comforted him. "I've got about 50 restaurants and wine shops in Zhaoge. You may go to a different one each day and work as an accountant or shopkeeper. Does that sound all right to you?" Jiang Ziya thanked him, saying, "I'm most grateful for your kind help." On the first day, Song Yiren sent Jiang Ziya to a big restaurant at the south gate of Zhaoge, the busiest part of the city. The cooks, waiters and assistants slaughtered pigs and sheep and prepared food and wine for the customers. But as Jiang Ziya was to be the head of the gods and exuded an aura of dignity and power, people avoided him and no one entered the restaurant from early morning till noon. In the afternoon, there was a heavy rain, and everyone stayed indoors. Even Huang Feihu had to cancel the military exercises. As it was hot, the meat and cakes in the restaurant began to go bad and smell, and wine turned sour. Jiang Ziya began to worry, and so he called the staff together, saying, "You'd better eat all the food you've prepared before it becomes inedible." He then wrote a poem to complain about his fate. Heaven begot me in this dusty world. I spend my time but achieve nothing. A rock sometimes soars high in the sky, and in doing so must cross the 9 peaks. How was business today? Song Yiren asked when Jiang Diya returned home that night. I'm ashamed to tell you that we lost a lot of money. We sold nothing at all. Jiang Ziya answered with a sigh. Don't be vexed, brother. A gentleman must know how to wait for his time to come. You haven't lost much in this business. I'll find you something else to do later. Song Yiren said, sighing in agreement. Fearing that Jiang Ziya would be annoyed, Song Yiren gave him 50 taels of silver as capital and advised him to buy and sell livestock with the assistance of his young servants. These are living creatures that can't go bad, so we won't suffer any further losses. He commented. Jiang Ziya did as his sworn brother advised and spent several days buying up pigs and sheep. He then drove a large number of them to the market in Zhaoge. By this time, Daji had already ruthlessly sent numerous innocents to death, and the government was monopolized by the wicked, who filled all important offices. Heaven was disgusted and punished the Shang kingdom with floods and droughts. 6 months had passed since rain had fallen on the land. Crops in the fields were withered, and the capital was facing starvation. King Zhou and the people began to pray daily for rain. As heaven disapproved of the taking of life, slaughtering livestock was strictly prohibited during the rain prayer period. Official proclamations were posted on the walls and gates of the city. All the slaughterhouses were closed and livestock was confiscated. Jiang Ziya, however, didn't know the situation. He drove a herd of pigs and sheep through the city gate and was immediately stopped by the guards. Look! Animals for the slaughterhouse. This is a serious violation of the law. Arrest that man at once. Hearing them shout, Jiang Ziya abandoned his pigs and sheep and fled. The guards confiscated all the animals and let him flee empty-handed. When Song Yiren saw Jiang Ziya return home panic-stricken and his face ashen, he asked urgently, Brother, what's the matter with you? Jiang Ziya gave a long sigh. You're so kind and generous to me, but I'm always ill-fated and fail in everything I try. I've lost a lot of your money already, but I lost even more for you this time. I didn't know the prohibition on slaughtering livestock, and had my pigs and sheep confiscated when I drove them into the city. They tried to arrest me, but I ran away. I'm so ashamed to have lost your capital again that I don't know how to face you. What shall I do, brother? A few taels of silver confiscated by the government is nothing to worry about. Let's go to the back garden together and drink away our sorrows. Song Yiren said with a smile. After that, Jiang Ziya's luck took a turn for the better, and he met with success after success. If you want to know what happened to Jiang Ziya after that, you must read the next chapter.